Look, most folks will tell you Phil Foden is the biggest talent to come out of Manchester City, but that's probably because they don't know Chelsea's number 20 is also an alumnus of City's academy setup. It's a cold world out there in the Premier League these days, and it's all thanks to former City prodigy Cole Palmer. Ever since making that move to Chelsea in the summer, the 22-year-old has been tearing it up across all competitions, leaving defenders in his wake. But before he became Chelsea's go-to guy, Palmer was just another talented youngster coming up through Manchester City's academy. City's youth system has produced some serious stars in recent years, but Palmer might just be the best of the bunch. So, how did he make the leap from promising prospect to Premier League powerhouse? Let's dive in and explore his journey. But first, be sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. There's no doubt Phil Foden has been the poster boy for City's academy in the Premier League. I mean, the lad has ticked every box. Trophies? Check. PFA Player of the Year award? Check. City Player of the Year? Check. The Stockport Iniesta has shown just about everyone the amazing work the club is doing with the youth team. He's laid a legacy, one that his former teammate at youth level, Cole Palmer, was expected to follow. Cole Palmer was born on May 6, 2002, in Wythenshawe, Manchester, England. It's a bit of a footballing hotbed because that's where a certain Marcus Rashford was born. And just like Rashford, Palmer's mum is a die-hard Man United fan, while his dad is a City fan. But despite this divided household, both parents were incredibly supportive of Palmer's dreams of becoming a professional footballer. They drove him to countless training sessions and games, and their unwavering support played a huge role in shaping his career during those early years. Palmer was a United fan growing up, but that didn't stop him from joining City's academy back in 2010, when they came knocking. In fact, Palmer, who also had trials at Liverpool and Bolton, rejected United when they came in for him back in the day. He was just 8 years old then, and after finding his way into the City youth setup, he worked his way up through the ranks, playing some good football, and eventually captaining the under-18s team. Sounds like the perfect story, yeah? But guess what? Things weren't always easy for him. Around the age of 14, some folks were worried he was too small to make it big, so there were coaches who wanted to release him when he was 16. But thankfully, the academy director, Jason Wilcox, stepped in and saved the day. Of course, those worries about his size are long gone. Palmer's shot up to over 6 feet tall now. And it would have been a disastrous decision to let him go, because by the time he turned 16, he was a regular on the under-18 team, scoring 4 goals and assisting once in just 12 games. So what made Palmer so special? Well, for starters, he's a left-footed attacking player who can play on the wing as part of a front three or as a number 10 in the middle. He's got this amazing ability to break down the opposing defense with a killer pass, especially those sneaky through balls that curve inward. Back in the academy, he was a master at creating chances for teammates on the other side of the pitch, finding ways to get past the defenders. He's particularly dangerous when he plays on the right side, allowing him to bend those passes inwards with his stronger left foot. Even though he likes to be involved in the attack, Palmer isn't afraid to drop back and help his teammates. He'll often pick up the ball deep in his own half, take a touch, and then play a smart pass to someone else higher up the field. So despite his frail look, the kid was devastating in executions. But then again, Palmer's first big moment on the main stage for City wasn't exactly a dream start. He was brought on as a substitute in the FA Youth Cup final against Liverpool. It was a tight game that went to penalties, and unfortunately, Palmer missed his. It was the only missed penalty, and Liverpool ended up winning the cup. You'd think that missing a crucial penalty in a big final would be devastating for a young player. But for Palmer, it turned out to be a turning point, because you see, in the next 2 years, he turned up in style, doing what Cole Palmer knows how to do best: score and assist goals. The 18-year-old would go on to score 33 goals and provide 16 assists in just 47 games for the academy teams. And to top it off, he was named the 2020 Under-18s Player of the Year. And you know what made the year 2020 sweeter for the youngster? 2 years after missing that crucial penalty in the Youth Cup final against Liverpool, Palmer made up for it big time by scoring twice in the Under-18s Premier League Cup final the following year, and then playing a huge part in the Youth Cup semi-final the season after. Pep had pushed Palmer and the other young players to use their first-team experience and finally win the cup. And guess what? 17 months after that heartbreaking loss to Liverpool, Palmer scored the winning goal against Chelsea in the Youth Cup final. His goal and assist helped City's amazing young team finally win the FA Youth Cup after losing 4 out of the last 5 finals. It was even more special for Palmer and the under-18s because their teammate, Jeremy Whiston had sadly passed away a month before. Palmer dedicated his winning goal to him by lifting his shirt to show a tribute to his friend. The youngster was quietly making a name for himself as he was juggling academy games with training and with the first team all week. It was only a matter of time before he played his first game for the senior team. And that time finally came on the 30th of September 2020 when he made his debut for City in a 3-1 win against Burnley in the League Cup. Palmer would have to wait a year later to make his Premier League debut, and it came in a Manchester City 5-0 thrashing of Norwich. The kid, who almost got booted out, now finally had his time under the sun. The fun didn't stop though, as Palmer also scored his first senior goal against League One side Wycombe. He would go on to make his second Premier League appearance against Burnley on the 16th of October 2021. But what made that day extra special was Palmer was playing for the under-23s against Leicester and scoring a hat-trick. The crazy thing is, it was actually the teenager's decision to play that evening. If you think that was insane, that's probably because you didn't watch Palmer regularly at the youth level. Palmer always rose to the occasion in those big academy games. The youngster was that prolific. Performances like that were what made Guardiola adamant that Palmer wouldn't be going on loan. And to show he was sold to the kid's potential, Pep gave Palmer 8 appearances for the senior team, with 3 of them coming in the Champions League. Palmer scored his first FA Cup goal in a 4-1 victory over Swindon Town that season. But the major highlight for the youngster that season was becoming only the 3rd teenager to score in the UEFA Champions League for Manchester City. He achieved this incredible feat at the age of 19 years and 166 days during City's 5-1 win over Club Brugge. This also made him the 10th youngest Englishman to score in the competition. However, the following season, Palmer found it harder to get consistent playing time. Despite being permanently promoted to the first team, he only made 25 appearances across all competitions. And with Bernardo and Mahrez ahead of him on the right, Palmer was always fighting for minutes. He'd come on here and there, maybe start a few games, but he wasn't getting the consistent playtime he craved. It was only when the title was wrapped up and Pep started resting some of the big names that Palmer started to shine that season. Despite his limited minutes, he still contributed to City's historic treble-winning season with a goal and assist. But it wasn't enough. He wanted to play week in, week out, and Palmer made the decision to leave. Before he left, he gave us all a little reminder of what City would be missing when Manchester City faced Sevilla in the 2023 edition of the Super Cup. City would go down a goal by the 25th minute, but guess who popped up with the equaliser? Yes, it was Cole Palmer grabbing the much-needed goal in the 63rd minute, sending the game to penalties. City won, but it was pretty clear at that point Palmer was moving on. As for Guardiola, it seemed he wasn't going to stand in Palmer's way. Everyone knows by now, Pep has a history of not holding on to players who want to leave. He's very clear about that. In Palmer's case, the Catalan made it very clear that Palmer had been wanting to leave for 2 seasons, so eventually he went. Guardiola moves on from these situations pretty quickly, although I suppose City might be kicking themselves a little bit now for not getting a bigger transfer fee than what they got. So, how did Manchester City's fans feel about Cole Palmer leaving at the time? One ex-user tweeted this: "Selling Cole Palmer is a dreadful decision by Man City." Others were more chill. "Right, this whole subject is getting a bit mad, all because he scored a penalty. I like Palmer, he's a good player, but whether it's the right, left or centrally, he doesn't come close to starting for City. So no, City will have 0 regrets for the resale." Also, he wanted to leave. Now here's the million-dollar question. Do you think Palmer made the right call by leaving City? Should he have waited it out? Considering Mahrez is gone and Bernardo Silva isn't quite himself lately. Share your thoughts in the comments. Well, for Cole Palmer, he clearly feels he made the right decision. In his own words, "My thing was never to leave Man City, but I'm really glad I made the decision to come here." And who can blame him? 38 goals, 21 assists in 67 matches so far. That's a ridiculous record. He's racked up multiple individual honours, broken countless records, and is now the undisputed star boy for Chelsea. And how was life treating Man City after Cole Palmer's departure? I'm sure you can guess the answer. But before we dive deeper, take a sec to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Done? Awesome. Now back to City's post-Palmer era. On the surface, it seems like business as usual for the citizens. They clinched their historic 4th Premier League title in the 23-24 season, after all. But scratch beneath the surface, and the 24-25 season tells a different story. It's been a rough ride, and many are pointing fingers at City's decision to let Palmer go. You've probably seen the memes and tweets doing the rounds on football social media. Every time Palmer puts on a show-stopping performance, City fans can't help but think, what if? The consensus is clear. City fumbled their chances with Palmer. Take a look at some of these tweets. This Man City side looks very flat against Feyenoord and lacking in creativity, needing a dodgy pen to go in front. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but selling Cole Palmer must rank as the worst transfer decision of modern times. Local lad as well. Absolutely criminal, really. Watching Man City makes me even more amazed they let go of Cole Palmer. Never thought it was a good decision then, and definitely don't think it's a good decision now. Man City's decision to let Cole Palmer leave for a domestic rival gets more baffling every single week. And just like that, the City's Prodigy has become Chelsea's secret weapon, and he only cost the Blues £40 million. Where do we even start when talking about the records he's broken? Is it his 26th Premier League goal of 24 against Fulham that made him the Chelsea player with the most goals scored in a calendar year in the competition? Or is it his incredible record for taking the most penalties in Premier League history without ever missing a single one? And let's not forget that Cole Palmer is also the first player to score 4 goals before half-time in a single Premier League match. The 22-year-old finished his first season with a total of 27 goals and 15 assists across all competitions. He had the most goal involvements with 33, 22 goals and 11 assists of any other player in the 23-24 Premier League season. He absolutely cleaned up the award ceremonies too. Palmer won the Premier League Young Player of the Season and the PFA Fans Player of the Year awards for his outstanding first season at Chelsea. He was also nominated for the Premier League Player of the Season and the FWA Footballer of the Year awards. There's no doubt things are looking pretty rosy for Cole Palmer these days. He's really made a name for himself, and with Man City struggling a bit lately and Chelsea still trying to find their feet, you have to wonder, who's going to have the last laugh in this whole situation? So there you have it, the rise and fall, or should I say the rise and rise of Cole Palmer. From a City prodigy, a potentially secret weapon, to a Chelsea superstar. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think City could have done differently to keep Palmer? Do you think Palmer should have been patient with City? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more football content like this. And oh, stick around, because I've got another juicy video coming up right now. Click on the screen to watch it next.